Hey guys, KYT here. It's been a while, and I know my wife loves to make fun of me for saying this a lot, but it's true. It's been a while, and it's not really my fault. I've just recovered for hands, feet, mouth disease, and I've been getting infected by my kid every week because we bring her to daycare 4 times a week, and surely enough, she comes back with something every now and then. And just recently, both my wife and I had gastro, stomach flu, and being sick at the same time is the worst because neither of us are prepared to take care of the baby and of each other. So it's been a struggle, but right now, again, when I find time to be fully healthy, it's time to do a video. We're gonna be talking about what I think about lump sum versus DCA and all my thoughts about that, because also had a YouTube comment about this. And before we do that, let's jump to everyone's favorite part, which is a portfolio update. So in my last video, I had roughly 205,000 and just added all my different amounts here as well, and barely moved 0.03% of gain. We had someone in the YouTube comments say that they want me to show different time views, and I hope it's okay if I'm only showing my TFSA one. I'm not gonna compile all of these accounts unless there's like a huge demand for it. So in all, for my TFSA, the first one that opened, I'm all-time up 13%, 1 year up 8%, in the last 3 months up 2%, 1 month down 1%, 1 week 0%, and in the last day, since yesterday, down $670. But good to see all-time, I am up 5 figures in my TFSA. So let's jump to the meat of the video. It's a question from Aaron. Hi there, just dropped the maximum amount into my kid's RESP that I could invest with a maximum government grant, $5,000. If I'm looking for an aggressive portfolio like yours, should I use all my assets to buy the maximum amount of XEQT upfront, or should I buy XEQT on a rolling basis, some upfront, some more in a couple of weeks, I think, or months? Thanks. So I liked Aaron's comment after reading it, but I didn't answer him right away because I thought it's a very intriguing question, and he would reply right away and say, like, where's my answer, bro? I did eventually answer him, but I think the reason I have to think a lot is because the RESP is money that is meant for our kids' future. So we got to be really careful about what I want to say when it comes to the risk level we want to take with it. Should you lump sum it all, the entire amount, or spread it across the year? And the reason I'm able to invest so aggressively and aggressively within the index investing world, because like the most aggressive would be someone that decides to have a concentrated portfolio. But in the world of ETFs, going 100% stocks is as risky as you can go. And I think human capital is the term I'm looking for. That's the most important consideration. Some people say age, etc., to determine how much risk you can take and how much you need to save. But I think human capital is one of the most important components. So what I mean is that you yourself, you're an income generating machine from a certain age all the way till retirement. And how stable that is like the most key factor in how much risk you can take. So the reason I'm able to be really aggressive, despite myself not making over $60,000 a year. I don't make even 50,000. I think I barely scratch the surface. But my wife, in conjunction with my wife, who's in the dental hygienist industry, that's really high demand here, at least in Quebec. I know my wife told me a newly graduate can expect to make $44 an hour. So for those of you young ones that are looking for a career that is high demand, that has a secure job market, I think for the foreseeable future, unless AI takes over cleaning teeth, I think that's a pretty good industry to go to. Fun fact, my wife first got into interior design, went back to school to do a full dental hygienist program, and now she's thriving and loving it. And so it's never too late to go back. I encouraged her to do something that she loved. So back to the question at hand, what would I do? So I do want to share some research that my guy Ben Felix shared on Twitter, and he's done a paper on this comparing lump sum, right? If you're sitting on cash that you plan to invest, you have a few options. Invest a lump sum, dollar cost average or wait for a good time to invest. Usually like you're trying to wait for like a giant drop. Want to know what works best on average at market peaks and after recent market volatility. Results were pfft. But I'll link it to the video below. But the cliff notes is that on average, you will perform better when you put a lump sum, which makes sense. That's why sometimes like quotes that you hear from famous billionaires or classic investing tips, you should like think twice before just treating them like gospel. But in this case, like stuff like timing the market beats timing the market, that's actually backed up by data that by putting money, or the other quote is like the best time to invest was a long time ago, or the next best time is now. So the results and the data backs that, except that, of course, when you do that, you do risk having scenarios where it really does not go your way. So basically, having the best average result does not mean it's necessarily the best choice. Like you think about the classic example of diminishing returns, right? When you think about going from 0 to 1 million, 1 to 2 million, even though the amounts are equivalent, going from 0 to 1 million feels more important. And here it's like, you don't necessarily need, especially when you're playing with your kids' money, you're investing it, you don't care really about maximizing the best possible return. You also care about like keeping it, making sure that there's an amount at the end of those 15 to 18, maybe 20 years of investing, right? I'm actually gonna scroll down and show two tweets that are pretty interesting. Again, you can click the link in the video description to get to this. But he talks about investing a lump sum and then watching the market decline could be challenging. Entering the market over time with DCA may mitigate the psychological risk. But something that's not discussed enough is that if DCA is necessary from a psychological perspective to deploy cash into an asset allocation, the asset allocation may be inappropriate. If you can't handle investing a lump sum today, how will you behave once fully invested? That is true, because at some point, you are going to be fully invested. So for myself, like at one point, you start with 5,000, and if that makes you nervous, what happens when your portfolio grows to 200,000 like it is for me now, or it grows to 1 million, and then at that point it hits a 20% or God forbid a 50% drop? Like, how are you going to be able to handle that? So being able to try, I guess, challenge yourself to be able to handle it now at a small amount is probably a better thing. When it's going to be in the bigger numbers, it's going to be more throw up worthy for sure. And so here's the other tweet, the last one I want to sort of bring attention to. We find no compelling evidence that DCA or buy the dip are optimal strategies. Investors averse to investing a lump sum may consider keeping the DCA period to a year at most, investing a portion as an initial lump sum and DCA the rest, and a more conservative asset allocation. So meaning just don't be in XEQT, be in XGROW, VGROW, XBAL, VBAL as well, to have less stocks, be a little less risky. And I've recommended the first two before on my channel, where like, just if you have 5,000, just split it in the next couple of months, stuff like that. But now I do think for most people in my situation, when I think about it a lot more, they should probably be really aggressive and just lump sum it. And by similar scenario than me, I mean people that are either really young and have a bright future ahead, or are like, I'm 38, I'm late to the party when you check my portfolio. I started a few years ago, but that have a stable income moving forward. And I'm glad that me and my wife are in that position. Like I mentioned, my yearly income isn't that high, but because I'm a web programmer, I'm a social media manager, there's definitely, even if I get let go from my job, there's a lot of security around me being able to find a job to make a similar income. I'm just highly confident in that. So back to the whole thing. I think the key thing is to view the entire thing as not just the RESP. So for me, it's not just like my TFSA, my RSP, my taxable account, and then we have my RESP is just that portion is for my kid. I don't think about it like that. So I would think about it as the RESP has these grants that allow me to have free money to put towards her, but my whole life portfolio, like a huge part of that will be to help provide for financial education. So even if my RESP is maxed, whenever I'm contributing my income to my TFSA, to my RSP, it is still towards that goal. So should my RESP drop a lot in like the first couple of years, like anything I contribute in my other accounts will still benefit my kids. So that's why I think that if you think about it that way, you should probably be as aggressive as possible, if that makes sense. Because if you put it that way, when the market tanks, that's when me and my wife are still buying, are still contributing on a consistent basis. So overall, that mitigates the risk. Having this human capital that's just constantly making income will fight off the market declines, and once the market rises, we will benefit tremendously. And that will do it for this quick video. Once again, I really appreciate everyone asking me questions, because clearly a lot of you value the way I take in information and try to process what info is good and what approach is good or bad. So again, really appreciate, always happy to engage with anyone in the comments below. So until then, hope to see you in the next one. Actually, I might as well show you, this is what I do with my own RESP. So you can see here, I contribute $500. I buy roughly $500 worth right away, $500 here, 500 plus the extra cash that's left, $750. This was in April last month, and I invest that right away. So I basically lump sum a big amount once whether it's through income, through outside income, whatever, I have a significant amount, I just put it all in instead of DCAing like $25 or $60 a week. Oh, and I forgot, I passed over 1,000 subscribers today. Thank you so much for the support. And I gotta keep making these videos, and I will, because you guys are watching, so I have to. See you for now.